Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We have some exciting news. We have finally gotten the date for when Palantir will be releasing their Q4 2021 earnings, and it is going to be on February 17th, 2021. Now, a couple things. I will be live streaming it on this channel, so don't forget to come to this channel. It's going to be at around 8 a.m., so we'll start at 7:30. That'll be the first live stream I've ever done on the channel. Now, some people have been asking for a live stream. I am very excited to do live streams, and I want to do market open and market close live streams as well. Like, that's something I desperately want to do. I think it would be so much fun. I think it would build so much more of a community, and it would be so much more fun to like analyze things that are happening in real time versus always having to create videos about them after they happen. However, I think we got to grow a little bit for that to be able to happen and for me to be able to justify that. And I need to see like that people actually want to like show up to those live streams. So we will be doing that in the future, just not now. But this will be one of the first live streams we do for Palantir earnings, and I think it'll be really fun. So definitely make sure to check that out. Now, the really interesting thing about this is that Palantir didn't just release a normal press release saying, "Hey guys, February 17th, we're gonna release our earnings." They did something a little different. They said Palantir Technologies announced that today the results for its fourth quarter and fiscal year ended December 31st, 2021 will be released on Thursday, February 17th, 2022, prior to the open of the U.S. markets. Palantir CEO Alex Karp will host a video conference and take questions from analysts and shareholders at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a big deal. As soon as I got that call, or as soon as I got that text, I tweeted something, and I tweeted Palantir earnings 217. Alex Karp said, "F all this, I'm hopping on the call, mother effers." I'm sorry for the harsh language, but it got me really excited when I saw that, and that got like 250 likes or like I think 30 retweets or something. So my Twitter is at @AmitIsInvesting. You get real-time updates on Palantir, and you get my raw thoughts on what's going on in the market. We all get to suffer together in this hard time. Looks, Karp is on the call. I think Karp has realized that, like, this is ridiculous. The stock price is nonsense. The stock price does not reflect the reality of what the company is doing. There have been literally 14 deals, and I missed a couple of deals in my recap video. I'll put that in the description of all the deals they have done in the past 2 months. They've literally been doing, like, insane amount of things to the point where the stock price at $13 is just dirt cheap for the value proposition of this company and for the growth potential of this company and for the fact that if they can hit their targets, which is why earnings is very important, then they will be able to grow. So I'll do a proper video later on like what we should expect from earnings, but management says that they're going to end 2021 with $1.5 billion in revenue, which is a 40% year-over-year growth from 2020 to 2021. That's phenomenal. In my bull case scenario with Sebastian, the investment banker, where we did an analysis of Palantir, we said if they grow 36% year over year, by the time they get to 2030, they would be at a $250 stock price, assuming they have a 35% adjusted operating margin as well. So for them to be 40%, you know, in this first or second year of them being a public company, like, that's phenomenal news. And if they can just keep on compounding that, right, 39 one year, 38 one year, 43 one year, I mean, you're talking about a really massive growth potential. So for that to happen, they would have to hit their estimates of about $418 million in revenue. Now, for the quarter. One of the things that a lot of people that I've talked to about Palantir have mentioned is, like, it's more than likely that they're going to hit this target and probably beat it. Maybe not beat it substantially, but like, what type of data analytics company can't predict their own revenue, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense to miss on guidance, right? Like, they said, hey, we're probably going to have $418 million in revenue. They literally protect the government from terrorist attacks. So, like, for that type of a company to not be able to have the internal mechanisms to be able to tell shareholders how much to expect would seem quite silly, right? So more than likely they're going to meet earnings. Hopefully they can beat it. You know, I mean, if they get to like 450, 460 million, that would be phenomenal. But I'm expecting around 420, maybe 425 million in earnings. That would be like, that would be a sweet spot for them to at least hit it. The key here is, why is Karp getting on the call? Because Karp historically does not get on these calls. And it was so ironic when I got this news, because last night when I was driving somewhere, actually, before this news came out, so it was like probably the evening, I turned on Sham Shankar's Q3 earnings from Palantir. I literally just turned it on to listen to it in the background, because I heard a lot of people said that, like, he didn't do a good job and he felt a little too salesy, and so I wanted to listen to it. And to be honest, I agree. I love you, Sham, but like, every time someone asked a question, he went into this mode of just like selling the company. It just wasn't natural the way he was answering it. And I was just like, the presentation skills here are very weird. He kept using all these big words and like this like hoopla to describe stuff, which all of it made sense. Like when he's talking about, we're the cardiovascular system of the enterprise. I'm like, that's a fire line. The problem is this is a shareholder call, and like, they don't care about that. Like, they want to just hear a human being talk to another human being that's trying to figure out if they should invest in this company. So the presentation skills were like, it was all right, but it wasn't like Karp level. It wasn't Elon Musk. It wasn't that visionary person that was like going to just kind of calm you down. And Karp just did an interview for 55 minutes with Kevin Warsh, and I analyzed that, and like that 55 minutes kind of like, it made you feel like you know what you're investing in the company, right? It was this perspective that he was able to offer. It was this calm, sort of soothing understanding of the company that he was able to portray through his energy. And it really felt like he understood the business more than anyone else understood the business based on the answer to the questions. I believe that's why he's hopping on the call. He's hopping on the call to make shareholders remember why they even invested in Palantir in the first place. Now, Sachin Sharma, really good friend of mine, I had him on the podcast on the channel. He'll probably be on the channel soon again. He had some tweets, and I want to read some of his tweets. He's a geophysicist. He does private consulting. This guy has been in the market for a long time. He's a private investor of SpaceX. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to just like thinking about business strategy. He also has a YouTube channel. Put that in the description. Here's a couple of reasons why Alex Karp is hopping on the call as well. He says on Twitter, happy to see that Alex Karp is on the earnings call. It is a year-end earnings call for the first full year as a public company. Makes sense for the CEO to pop on it. A stock decline should be addressed as it is partially due to the brand awareness in industrial settings. An expert guidance upgrade timeline on new products. So a couple things are important there. Number one, it's their first full year of a public company. So I do believe that it's good for Alex Karp to hop on the call as well. Number two, the stock decline, right? This is sort of the big thing here. Yes, he can give some upgrades on, he can explain like guidance. He can explain some more new products, but the stock decline is a very important thing to actually discuss, because if we don't discuss the stock decline, it's going to be a hard problem for employees. So I want to read one more thing that Sachin said. Decline of employee compensation due to heavy stock decline is a real concern and needs to be justified and addressed as the action below to justify. So telling Palantir and Alex Karp is not concerned about it at the time of the expansion is an understatement. What Sachin is saying is like, look, the stock price sucks right now. And yes, there's a lot of things in the macro economy that are happening, but Zuckerberg is not happy that the stock price went down and it wiped out $200 billion in market cap. The employees that got options at a certain price when it was around 300 and now it's at 230 are not going to be happy. And there is a very, very real concern, even though people should be considerate of the fact that the economy is kind of suffering right now and everyone's suffering, that people will leave. Like if people don't feel that they are properly compensated, if you were worth $1 million in options and today you're worth 650,000. That's a big deal. Those 400,000 could have been like a mortgage on your house, right? Like those are really, really important things that matter. And if you don't have a CEO who addresses it in court and sort of like calms you down, then it's a hard thing to swallow and you might end up leaving. He also writes, he has refrained in the indulging shady stock pumping activities that few CEOs prefer, and rightly so. So he hasn't like been pumping the stock for no reason. But the company performance and lack of its reflection in stock price is a concern for any CEO. The pain to switch companies when stock is down is so real for many employees, and Palantir has the best employees in the world that could get anything they want from Google, Facebook, etc. Probably not Facebook anymore because they're probably not going there. So, like, you got to keep them. Big tech and cash-rich companies prey on it. Alex Karp needs to address directly or indirectly the concerns in terms of a better visibility into company's action plan, roadmap, and updated guidance. I believe Karp is hopping on the call because he realizes that there is turmoil going on in the stock price, not in the company, because we've covered the company extensively over the past couple months, and the company is doing very well. Companies securing new deals. The stock price is not reflecting that. The macroeconomy sucks. The macroeconomy gets better, the stock price will get better. But as we've seen, there are good earnings calls, i.e. Amazon, i.e. Snapchat. Snapchat I did not expect at all. I was like, never in a million years would I think Snapchat would be up 62% from their earnings. But they're still down from like $80 to like $30. They're just up from like 26 to 35. So the point is, Palantir needs to make sure their earnings goes well, because employees that have options at like $20, $24 are like, if they literally were to cash out on their options, they would be negative. Think about that. You're negative on your options for doing the hardest work in the world at one of the most important technology companies. This is why, you know, when I see my price down on my shares in my brokerage, I really don't care. I'm like, I know the stock price is going to go up. The question is, when does it go up? How fast does it go up? And does it get to the level that employees get happy about where it's at? I believe if Palantir offers an amazing earnings and Alex Karp really answers the questions and lays out the roadmap that shareholders have, that shareholders are going to want to have, then there's a good chance that we actually get something meaningful done. I was talking to Tom Nash the other day, and he said that he would never expect Karp to be on the call because Karp is too politically incorrect. He doesn't manage investor relations, right? He doesn't care about all that stuff. Like, he wants to get the job done. And he made a good point, but at the end of the day, I think Palantir sort of recognized, look, we need him on the call. Like, this is kind of the nuclear option. Like, we got to have someone who can talk to shareholders, get the conversation going, make sure they understand all the problems, and ultimately help the stock price reflect the value of the company by having a communicator effectively communicate the value of the company. And that's why I think Karp is going to be on the call. So going to be super excited to see it. We'll be live streaming it. I'm very, very excited that they announced that Karp is going to be on it, because I think Karp is just like, screw this, screw the stock price, screw everything. This is my company. This is my vision. I think we can be 20 times bigger. I'm hopping on this call to start off the new year. Let's get it popping. Let's do it. Thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments on what you think. I'll see you in the next one.